You've been doing it wrong. And I don't mean a little bit wrong. I mean fundamentally, structurally, neurologically wrong. Everything you've been told about manifesting, the visualizing, the affirming, the trying to feel it before you have it, all of it is working against the very mechanism in your brain that creates real change. And the worst part, the harder you try, the worse it gets. I know that's not what you want to hear. I know you've spent months, maybe years, sitting in meditation trying to feel abundant while your bank account says otherwise. I know you've stood in front of a mirror reciting affirmations while a small voice in the back of your head whispers, "This isn't working." I know you've watched dozens of videos, maybe hundreds, where someone told you to just raise your vibration, to just believe, to just feel as if. And you tried. You genuinely tried. And you're still here. That's not because something is wrong with you. That's because something is wrong with the instructions you were given. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what's happening inside your brain when you try to manifest, why it backfires, and what to do instead. Because once you see this, you can't unsee it. And you'll wonder why nobody explained it to you this way before. Let's start with what actually happens in your brain when you try to manifest something you don't have. When you sit down and visualize your dream life, your ideal body, your perfect relationship, financial freedom, whatever it is, your brain does something very specific. It compares the image you're creating with your current reality. And when there's a gap between the two, when what you're imagining doesn't match what you're experiencing, your brain registers that gap as a threat, not as motivation, not as inspiration, a threat. This is called prediction error. And it's one of the most fundamental processes in neuroscience. Your brain is constantly making predictions about what's going to happen next, and when reality doesn't match those predictions, it triggers a stress response. Cortisol, adrenaline, activation of the sympathetic nervous system, the exact same chemicals that flood your body when you encounter physical danger. So here's the paradox. Every time you sit down to visualize abundance from a state of lack, you are literally telling your brain something is wrong. Every time you affirm, "I am wealthy," while your nervous system knows you're worried about rent, your brain flags the contradiction as a survival level problem. Every time you try to feel the feeling of having something before you have it and you can't quite get there, your brain interprets that failure as evidence that you are not safe. And a brain that doesn't feel safe does not create. It contracts, it protects, it hoards, it clings to what it knows. It becomes hyper-focused on threats and blind to opportunities. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain where creativity and vision and possibility live, goes offline. And your amygdala, the alarm system, takes over. You're not manifesting, you're surviving, and you can't build a dream life from survival mode. This is why affirmations don't work for most people. Not because the words are wrong, but because the nervous system isn't ready to receive them. It's like trying to install new software on a computer that's running an emergency shutdown protocol. The hardware isn't available, the system is too busy trying not to crash. And here's what makes this even more frustrating. The people you see online who seem to manifest effortlessly, the ones who say, "I just decided and it happened," they're not lying. But what they're leaving out, usually because they don't know it themselves, is that their nervous system was already in a state where change felt safe. Their baseline was already regulated. They weren't trying to manifest from survival. They were creating from safety. And that's an entirely different neurological process. Let me explain what I mean by that. When your nervous system is in a parasympathetic state, rest and digest, safety mode, your brain operates completely differently.
Your prefrontal cortex is fully online. You have access to creative thinking, to pattern recognition, to the ability to hold a vision without your brain panicking about it. Your brain can hold the gap between where you are and where you want to be without interpreting that gap as a threat. In this state, visualization actually works. In this state, setting an intention actually rewires neural pathways. In this state, your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters what you pay attention to, starts scanning for opportunities that match your vision, instead of scanning for threats that confirm your fears. But here's the key. You cannot think your way into this state. You cannot affirm your way into it. You cannot visualize your way into it, because the state itself is a nervous system state. It's below thinking. It's below language. It's in your body. And this is the piece that the entire manifestation industry is missing. They're giving you mind-level tools to solve a body-level problem. They're asking you to change your thoughts when the issue is your physiology. They're pointing at the screen and saying the software is broken when the problem is in the hardware. So what do you actually do? How do you shift from a nervous system that's stuck in survival to one that's ready to create? Step 1, stop trying to manifest. I know that sounds like the opposite of what you came here for, but hear me out. Every moment you spend trying to force a feeling, to make yourself believe something that your body doesn't believe, you are deepening the survival response. You are confirming to your brain that there is a gap that needs to be closed urgently right now. And urgency is the language of survival, not creation. So the first thing I want you to do is give yourself permission to stop. Stop the visualizations that make you feel worse. Stop the affirmations that feel hollow. Stop trying to be positive when your body is screaming that something isn't right. I know what you're thinking, but if I stop, I'll fall behind. If I stop manifesting, I'll lose momentum. I'll be giving up. No, you're not giving up. You're giving your nervous system room to breathe. There's a profound difference between giving up on your goals and giving up the method that's been sabotaging them. Think about it. If you've been pushing a door that says pull, the answer isn't to push harder. The answer is to change your approach. That screaming in your body, that tension you feel when the affirmation doesn't land, that's information. It's your nervous system telling you something important. And until you listen to it, no amount of manifesting is going to override it. Step 2, regulate before you create. Before you set a single intention, before you write a single thing in your manifestation journal, I want you to bring your nervous system into safety. And here's the simplest way I know. Put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Breathe in through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 7. Exhale through your mouth for 8. Do this for 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. What you're doing is activating your vagus nerve, the primary neural pathway that switches your system from sympathetic to parasympathetic, from threat to safety, from contraction to expansion. And after those 2 minutes, notice what's different. Notice that the urgency has softened. Notice that the tightness in your chest has loosened. Notice that your thoughts have slowed down even slightly. That's not relaxation. That's your prefrontal cortex coming back online. That's the creative part of your brain becoming available again. This is the state from which real change happens. Not from desperation, not from trying harder, from a body that feels safe enough to dream. Step 3, set intentions from safety, not from lack. There's a massive difference between these two statements. The first one, I need money because I'm terrified of running out. The second one, I'm open to receiving more abundance because I know I'll be okay either way. Both are about money, but they come from entirely different nervous system states. The first one is survival, the second one is safety, and your brain processes them completely differently. From survival, your brain narrows. It tunnel visions on the problem. It activates scarcity circuits that make you hoard, control, and grip tighter. It literally cannot see solutions because the threat detection system has taken over. From safety, your brain expands. It notices connections you missed. It generates ideas that wouldn't have occurred to you in survival mode. It allows you to take actions that feel inspired rather than desperate. And here's the thing that sounds mystical, but is entirely mechanical. Other people respond to you differently. Because when your nervous system is regulated, your body language changes, your tone changes, the energy you carry into a room changes. You become someone who attracts opportunities because you're no longer repelling them with the frequency of fear. This is not law of attraction. This is neuroscience. This is how your reticular activating system works. This is what happens when your prefrontal cortex is online versus offline. There's no mystery here, just biology that nobody bothered to explain to you. And by the way, I developed an entire 21-day system around this. It's called the pursuit paradox. It walks you through exactly how to reset your nervous system day by day so that you stop manifesting from survival and start creating from safety. The link is in the description. Step 4, replace forcing with noticing. The old way told you to create your reality. The new way says, notice your reality. And there's a profound neurological difference. When you force, your brain activates effort circuits. Effort circuits are associated with the anterior cingulate cortex, the part of your brain that monitors conflict and error. More effort means more conflict detection. More conflict detection means more stress. More stress means more survival mode. You see the loop? When you notice, something different happens. You activate your default mode network, which is associated with insight, creativity, and self-reflection. You open up a receptive state rather than an effortful one. And in this state, your brain is actually rewiring. It's forming new neural connections based on what you're paying attention to, not what you're forcing, what you're noticing. So instead of sitting in meditation trying to feel rich, go for a walk and notice what's already good. Instead of affirming I am loved, notice who already loves you. Instead of visualizing your dream body, notice what your body has already survived and how strong it already is. This isn't toxic positivity. This isn't pretending everything is fine. This is redirecting your reticular activating system from threat scanning to opportunity scanning. It's a genuine neurological shift, and it works because you're not fighting your brain. You're working with it. I'll give you a simple example. One of the people I worked with had been trying to manifest a new career for over a year. Vision boards, journaling, daily affirmations. I am successful, I am abundant, I attract my dream job every single day. And every single day she felt worse because every affirmation reminded her that she was stuck in a job she hated. Her nervous system read every visualization as evidence of what she didn't have. When she stopped trying to manifest and started regulating first, everything shifted within 3 weeks. Not because the universe rewarded her for stopping, but because once her nervous system calmed down, her prefrontal cortex came back online. She started seeing opportunities that had been there the entire time. She had the clarity to update her resume, the confidence to reach out to someone in her network, and the presence to nail the interview. None of that was available to her in survival mode. All of it became obvious in safety. Here's what I need you to understand. The reason manifesting hasn't worked for you is not because you don't want it enough. It's not because your vibration is too low. It's not because the universe is testing you. It's because your nervous system has been in a state of activation that makes creation neurologically impossible. You've been trying to build a castle during an earthquake and blaming yourself for the rubble. The earthquake isn't your fault, but calming it is your responsibility. And the beautiful thing is, it's not complicated. It doesn't require crystals or rituals or 5-hour meditation sessions. It requires about 2 minutes of breath work and a fundamental shift in approach. Stop trying to create from desperation. Start creating from regulation. I've watched thousands of people make this shift. And what happens on the other side is not what they expected. They don't suddenly manifest a sports car or $1 million overnight. What happens is quieter and more powerful than that. They stop feeling desperate. They start feeling like themselves again. They notice opportunities they were too anxious to see before. They make decisions from clarity instead of fear. And yes, their circumstances change, sometimes dramatically, but the circumstances change because the person changed first, not the other way around. The 21-day protocol in the Pursuit Paradox is designed around exactly this sequence. 7 days to discharge the survival energy, 7 days to rewire the stories your brain created in survival mode, 7 days to establish a new baseline where your nervous system defaults to safety instead of threat. Less than 15 minutes a day. The link is in the description. Your brain is not broken. Your manifestation practice was just built on a misunderstanding. You were told to change your thoughts. The truth is you need to change your state. And once your state changes, your thoughts change on their own. Your actions change on their own. Your reality changes on their own. Not because you forced it, because you allowed it, because you finally gave your nervous system permission to stop fighting and start creating. That's not manifestation. That's neuroscience. And it's been inside you the entire time. Stop trying to manifest. Start allowing your brain to do what it was always designed to do. And watch what shows up when you finally get out of your own way.